Welcome to the Oracle's Sanctum. Today we're diving into Carl Jung's wisdom about synchronicity and why when someone is truly meant for you, you don't need to chase it to, simply feel it. There are certain moments in life that almost feel like they're whispering to you. You meet a stranger's eyes, and for a brief instant, the world feels still. It's not fear, it's not shock, it's recognition. Something inside you pauses, as if your soul has stumbled upon a memory. The strange part is, you weren't searching for this person, you weren't waiting, and you certainly didn't expect it. Yet in that moment, they feel familiar in a way you can't explain. Not because of fireworks, not because of dramatic signs from the universe, but because of a quiet inner knowing, as if the pieces of life, for just a second, clicked into place. Carl Jung believed that these moments are not accidents. He argued that life is not simply a series of random events, coincidences, or blind chance. Instead, he noticed that sometimes the timing of events feels so precise, so meaningful, that they demand our attention. He called this synchronicity. Think about it. You're thinking of someone you haven't spoken to in years, and suddenly they call. You wander into a cafe you've never visited, and you meet a person who changes the direction of your life. Or you have a dream about a certain symbol, and the very next day, that same symbol appears in your waking life. To most people, these things seem like coincidences, but Jung believed they were something more. Synchronicity is the moment when your inner world, your thoughts, emotions, unconscious desires aligns with the outer world. It's not about cause and effect. It's about meaning. Imagine the universe, or perhaps something deep within you, orchestrating events not to impress you with miracles, but to wake you up, to remind you that there is a hidden order behind what looks random. It's like the world is holding up a mirror, echoing your inner life back to you now. When it comes to love and connection, synchronicity feels even more powerful, because these moments don't just reveal patterns, they reveal people. You meet someone, and without effort, they reflect your story, your wounds, your desires, and even your hidden strengths. Not everyone you meet is meant to stay in your life. But sometimes a person arrives with such harmony to your inner world that it feels destined. And here's the important part. This sense of destiny doesn't come because of fate in the way most people think of it. It's not that some divine script has already written your life step by step. Instead, Jung believed that when you are ready, when your inner growth has reached a certain stage, the external world aligns to mirror that growth back to you. In other words, meaningful people show up not to complete you, but to reveal who you are becoming. Think about how different this is from the way we're usually taught to see the world. Most of us grow up believing that life is random, that relationships just happen, or that finding someone meant for you is pure luck. But Jung invites us to look deeper. What if those people who feel so significant are not random at all? What if they arrive because something inside you has quietly been preparing for them? When you look back on your own life, you might notice this pattern. A chance encounter that changed your career, a conversation that shifted your worldview, or meeting someone who made you realize that love could be real in a way you never imagined. At the time, it might have felt like luck, but in hindsight, it looks almost too precise to be accidental. That's synchronicity. It's life speaking to you in symbols, patterns, and timing. It doesn't scream, it whispers. And the whisper says, pay attention. This matters. So, in the context of love, when someone is truly meant for you, you don't need to force the connection. You don't have to chase, manipulate, or cling. Instead, you feel it, a quiet recognition, a stillness that tells you this moment is not random. This person, whether they stay forever or just pass through, has arrived for a reason. Jung once suggested that the people we meet are reflections of the journeys we're on, and when someone appears who feels familiar, it might be because they are mirroring a part of you that you're finally ready to see. They are not accidents, they are Carl Jung didn't just study the outer patterns of synchronicity, he also looked deeply into the inner world of the human psyche. He believed that inside every man and woman there lives a hidden counterpart. For men, this inner figure is called the Anima, the feminine soul. For women, it is the Animus, the masculine spirit, at first. This might sound abstract, but Jung wasn't talking about gender roles or stereotypes. He was speaking symbolically. The Anima and Animus are archetypes, patterns of energy that live inside the unconscious. They represent the qualities we often suppress or neglect in ourselves. For men, the Anima represents things like emotion, intuition, sensitivity, and creativity, the softer, more fluid aspects of the psyche. For women, the Animus represents qualities like reason, strength, willpower, and direction, the structured, firm aspects of the soul. Think about it like this. Inside every person, there's an inner other, a missing piece we are unconsciously searching for. And here's where it gets powerful. Jung believed that this hidden part of ourselves often shows up projected onto the people we're most drawn to in the outside world. Have you ever met someone and felt instantly magnetized toward them? Not just because of how they look, not because of logic, but because something about them stirred you in a way you couldn't explain. Maybe it was their energy, their way of being, or the feeling that they somehow understood you without words. Jung would say that what you were experiencing in that moment was your own unconscious being reflected back to you through that person. Let me give you an example. Imagine a man who has spent most of his life suppressing his emotions, focusing only on logic, control, and achievement. Deep inside, his Anima, the feminine, emotional, intuitive side is waiting to be acknowledged. Then one day, he meets a woman who embodies those very qualities. She's sensitive, creative, deeply in touch with her feelings. Without realizing it, he feels magnetized to her because she awakens the parts of himself he has ignored. Or take a woman who has grown up being told to always be gentle, agreeable, and passive. Her animista, strong, assertive, determined side has been buried. Then she encounters a man who radiates confidence and direction. She feels drawn to him, not simply because of who he is, but because he mirrors the part of her she's unconsciously ready to reclaim. This doesn't mean the attraction is an illusion. It means it's meaningful. Because the people who stir something deep inside us are not just random crushes. They are mirrors, revealing the parts of ourselves we're meant to integrate. Jung believed that real connection begins when we stop chasing perfection in another person, and instead pay attention to what they awaken within us. That's why relationships can be so intense, because they don't just bring us closer to another human being. They bring us face to face with ourselves. Think about how powerful this is. Love, from a Jungian perspective, isn't just about finding someone who makes you feel complete. It's about recognizing the pieces of yourself that you've lost, hidden, or never fully developed. When someone feels meant for you, it might be because they carry the qualities you are unconsciously seeking to rediscover in yourself. This also explains why some relationships feel almost fated, even when they're not easy, because sometimes the person who comes into your life isn't here to give you comfort, they're here to wake you up. They might challenge you, frustrate you, or stir emotions you didn't even know you had. But in doing so, they push you closer to wholeness. And this is why Jung's concept of the anima and animus is so transformative. It shifts the focus away from asking, "Is this person my perfect match?" to asking, "What part of me are they helping me meet?" Because love, in this lens, is not just falling into someone else, it's falling deeper into yourself through them. Every relationship becomes an invitation to wholeness, to integration, to becoming more of who you already are. So the next time you feel an unexplainable pull toward someone, don't dismiss it. Ask yourself, what part of me is being reflected in them? What is this connection trying to show me? Jung reminds us that the people who awaken us aren't always here to stay forever, but their presence, however brief or lasting, is never meaningless, because they are messengers guiding us back to the forgotten pieces of our own soul. Sometimes you meet someone and everything feels strangely effortless. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to perform. Just being in their presence feels enough. Silences that would feel awkward with others suddenly feel natural, even comforting. It's as if you've known them before, even when you haven't. Carl Jung believed these moments are not illusions. They are signals from the unconscious symbols and archetypes rising to the surface. When someone evokes a strong connection, it's often because they resonate with something buried deep in your psyche. Not in a shallow way, but in a way that awakens something ancient, something timeless within you. This is why you can meet someone once and feel as though you've known them your entire life. Time stretches and bends around them. Hours pass like minutes, or sometimes just a few seconds are enough to create an unforgettable imprint. It's not fantasy, it's recognition, your inner truth reflected back through another human being. But here's where it becomes important. Jung reminded us that not every connection is meant to last forever. Some people come into your life for only a short while. They may leave, but the effect they have on you remains. Because their role was not permanence, their role was awakening. Think about it. Some relationships are bridges. They take you from one stage of your life to another. Others are lessons difficult, sometimes painful, but transformative. And yes, some people stay. But whether short or long, each of these connections has meaning. Each one appears when a deeper part of you is ready. So, when we say if it's meant to be, it will be. Jung would challenge us to look closer. What does meant to be really mean? He would argue that it's not about fate writing a script for you. Instead, it's about your unconscious guiding you toward the experiences and people your soul needs for its growth. When someone is truly meant for you in the Jungian sense, they don't arrive to complete you, they arrive to reflect you. Awaken your hidden desires, expose your fears, and challenge your beliefs. They don't always make life easy, but they make it real. They bring clarity, even in the middle of chaos. And in their presence, you don't feel like you're losing yourself. You feel like you're coming home to yourself. Through them, you begin to see yourself more clearly than ever before. This is the deeper meaning of love. It's not about possession. It's not about permanence. It's about recognition, a shared moment of truth between two souls. Sometimes that truth lasts a lifetime. Sometimes it lasts only a season. But either way, it transforms you. Jung once said, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed." So, if someone enters your life and stirs something real within you, don't rush to label it. Don't force it into a box. Instead, ask, what in me is waking up through this connection? Because when someone is truly meant for you, you won't need to chase it. You'll simply feel it in the timing, in the silence, in the still, quiet knowing that speaks from your soul, O-U-T-R-O. If these words spoke to something deep within you, know that you're not alone. We all carry hidden stories, and sometimes it takes another soul to help us hear them. This is the Oracle's Sanctum. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.